You know, he's big on history, on civilization, and he sees himself, quite like Prime Minister Narendra Modi, as somebody who's there to bring about a change for the betterment of his country.
Well, he does think Russia is foremost when it comes to how he's thinking, decisions he's taking, and policies he's making. He's doing what he thinks is right for his country, and which is why when we were asking him questions, he focused on strategic autonomy.
Yes, he did.
Something that India keeps talking about, Gaurav.
Yeah. And he respects Prime Minister Narendra Modi for that, Anjana.
Oh, he was slipping in this every little opportunity that he had. He would slip in the Indian growth story. He was like, this is not the India of the 70s. So I think whatever time he took to concentrate on the interview, he put all that focus on how to describe India, the India that exists today. So that was very interesting. He would talk about Narendra Modi all the time. Like, my question was, how do you characterize Trump? He said, I do not want to characterize a colleague. But when it came to Prime Minister Modi, he was just so enamored by him, and probably also because he values this relationship a lot.
And
I mean, imagine 100 minutes of an interview. Who's doing this? He did it because it's not that something happened suddenly. It's because the Russian president has a clear view about India.
Yeah.
He wants to penetrate every Indian household. And he knows that the Aaj Tak India Today group can do it. He picks on us, and then we are there in front of him. And he gives us a, like she's saying, no holds barred interview. And he's so relaxed. Look at him.
Yeah.
You talk to him about his KGB days, I asked him. She asked him, which CIA or K. And I'm getting the maximum responses on these questions. People are like...
And Mossad. I mean, you know,
he mentioned it himself.
He mentioned Mossad.
So it was absolutely... I think two things this will do for Putin as well. It is big for us, and it also puts Indian media on a very important platform in the world.
Yeah.
And all this Western media that has dominated the entire narrative for years and years, we've, kind of put forth...
We bring out facts, and only facts. And you asked him tough questions, both of you. You didn't spare him on questions that the world would want answers to. The Russian origin people in Ukraine.
Russian-speaking people, Russian origin.
And what he had said on Kyiv, I said, you've said it's the mother of all Russian cities. So what did you mean by that? But the best thing is that what it will do for Putin is that the maximum reviews I'm getting now is that in this conversation, a leader and a man came across to them. They're thinking कि वो ऐसे बात करता है, he shakes hands with people, he talks to people, and he's so relaxed with you.
In fact, the BTS was very interesting.
What Anjana was saying when she spoke about, you know, this interview, why was it important to give it to an Indian network, and why is it important that India Today got it, Gaurav, is because it's not just penetrating every Indian home, it's about telling the world that we do not need Western media to sound legitimate and credible.
Yeah,
that we
don't crave legitimacy.
No, I'm talking about Russia. That they can give it to an Indian network and be heard everywhere in the world.
True.
So we have made a mark where we did not focus just on India. We focused on every question that concerns Russia when it comes to the world. We asked him tough questions on Trump. We asked him about Russia, Ukraine. We asked him about Gaza. We asked him about Israel, Palestine,
AI, Gen
Iran, Gen Z, the Gen Z
Taliban,
protests.
Afghanistan. No, but
Recognizing the Taliban.
Geeta, let's do something else now. Let's ask Gaurav what was his favorite part of the interview.
What
was your favorite part of the interview?
What was your favorite part, Gaurav?
Every bit of it. In fact, I had the privilege of listening to it, the whole thing, including the conversation later that happened. And considering I've reported both from Russia and from Ukraine, like you, during the conflict and after that, I know where he's coming from and where he's trying to get at. The West may not understand, and especially when he says what he said on Donbass. And that's where I wanted both of you to respond. Such clarity of thought that when the war started, or the special operations as he puts it, Donbass is something that he wanted. Donetsk and Luhansk, no getting rid of that.
No,
and you've reported from there, on either side, by the way.
And Crimea.
Yeah.
Donetsk, Luhansk and Crimea. Because
Crimea goes without saying there is no way would he have ceded that.
It was jointly operated, right? He said, but to the word annexation, he said, no, we didn't annex it. It was ours.
It was ours
we are just saying, we are just claiming it completely is because there is a threat to Russian national security. And Crimea is the only warm water port that Russia has. So absolute
I think
clarity.
the interesting part of this entire interview preparation prep was also, Gaurav, that I and Geeta were, very clear that we want proper symphony between us, a flow of questions, but we had also prepared in anticipation of what he would answer. So we were like, which parts are you, what are the red lines? So we were clear that he's going to try and evade such questions maybe.
Did he?
So I think he evaded the China-India question quite smartly.
A little careful. I think he
was
answered,
careful.
but he was careful.
See, when he
because
talks about
they're both
nuclear
friends.
energy, he's...
In fact, he did not evade, Anjana. He said a very important thing there to you. He said that I see that they both are making
Efforts.
an effort and there is intent to resolve. He sees it that way. Because also there
But
must be
why
that...
I say he evaded that question is because my question was not in the context of Russia interfering in the Indo-China, whatever
Sino-Indian
differences we
context,
have.
How do you see it?
My question was that you want RIC. You are saying you don't want to go to G8, but you went to China, and now you're coming to India. You obviously want RIC to be together. But if these two need to be together, then there needs to be some kind of this
peace
thing.
at the borders.
And then you are always walking on tightrope because you have to balance the two. You went to China, now you're coming to India. Also to ensure that the Chinese hegemony that's happening in the Russian market today has to somehow be balanced. How are you balancing India and China? That was my question.
I know, but
yeah, he took it away from there.
But if he would have said anything, that would have been interference.
Yeah.
You're getting it in diplomacy.
Yeah.
If he would have said anything,
No.
that
No,
would have
no.
been interference.
He could have
so
said
he left
that
it
I
at
give
that you guys decide.
No, Geeta. So the answer could have been, I'm just assuming, could have been the Chinese and the Chinese people are equally important for me, but keeping this relationship with India is also very important. They're equally important. He didn't want to say that. Equally, or, words like that, or I value this and I value this more. He didn't want to say that. He said that they have to sort their differences. We will work together.
And in your view, Geeta, his love for India and for Prime Minister, his affection for Prime Minister Narendra Modi comes out very naturally, because I was just watching, he was talking about yoga, he was talking about Raj Kapoor just a moment ago.
Yeah, RT.
Yeah, so all that comes very naturally to him.
It does. It does. He has engaged India through prime ministers, through through governments, and Prime Minister Narendra Modi has been at the helm of affairs at a time that has been most difficult, turbulent, and testing times for Russia. And India stood by Russia come what may. In fact, if these visuals, not the ones that you're seeing because that is us, but if the visuals of Modi and Putin are to be seen closely, it just spells out defiance.
This woman that you're seeing right now,
Yes, in fact,
she was one of our translators.
Oh, I thought she was one of the security,
No. So this girl, she was one of our translators, and you will see the other one in the informal conversation where this other gentleman who was part of all the translation when we were, like having an informal interaction. But you'll see that girl right now. This girl.
Yeah.
She was our English woman translator. So
They're
what
the
used to happen?
interpreters,
20
yes.
minutes.
Yes.
20 minutes of interpreters.
Yes.
Like,
oh yeah, because they have to concentrate so much
No, and
on
because
every
they have to
word.
write also.
And they write.
Then they write, and they're real-time writing, doing it. So they take 20 minutes, they take turns.
break.
They take
Amazing.
turns.
In fact, Geeta, tell him about what they told us. That don't be surprised if you get a man's voice in your ear and then suddenly there's a woman
And
speaking.
then they prepared us, because then they came, the two officers came, and this lady officer and the other gentleman, and they introduced themselves. Then they practiced with us. We did a
diction,
real-time...
pronunciation.
and also real-time. Real-time, how will it sound? Because for Anjana, it's the first time that she's doing an interpreter. So they practiced with us. Where somebody was sitting, answering our questions, and we were getting it. We were getting the interpretation so that we were completely prepared before we go into that interview with the president.